In my quest to find affordable options for a basic portable computer that can browse the web and create simple games with Pygame, Raylib and Godot, I already tested the first generation Surface Go from 2018, which was surprisingly usable. Sadly, I ended up destroying its screen. Poor thing. Anyway, I decided to test an even lower end option, the Raspberry Pi 400 from 2020. I got a used one for around 45 euros, including shipping, and it even came with an official Raspberry Pi mouse as a bonus. The combo is so cute that even my wife said so, one of the most adorable pieces of tech that I ever bought. For those living under a rock, the Raspberry Pi 400 is basically a Raspberry Pi 4 with 4GB of RAM built into a keyboard, kinda like those prehistoric computers like the Commodore 64. It has a quad-core ARM processor, which until a few years ago significantly limited the software options. But nowadays ARM processors are stealing the thunder from x86, so it's basically mainstream now. Software isn't as big of an issue anymore. For storage, you usually use SD cards. Mine didn't come with one, so I used an old 8GB card that I had laying around, which is the absolute bare minimum to run Raspberry Pi OS. Hey, it works. You just cannot install much stuff or save many files on it. Besides the SD card, you also need a USB-C power supply, which it also didn't come with. But I think a phone charger with at least 15 watts should be enough. Now the most annoying part about Raspberry Pis in general. The micro HDMI ports for video output. I have to use this ridiculous adapter which I got from AliExpress. It would be much easier if it supported video over USB-C, so I could just plug it into a dock. Other thing I didn't realize, it doesn't have a 3.5mm audio jack like a regular Raspberry Pi 4, so I can only get sound through HDMI or Bluetooth. As an accidental Pastafarian, I prefer dealing with a mess of cables rather than constantly charging a bunch of devices. Just don't look behind my monitor. Anyway, what's the experience like with the Raspberry Pi 400 in 2026? In short, I'd say it's acceptable. I can feel that it is considerably more limited than the small processor on the Surface Go. But for basic tasks like web browsing, text processing and light gaming, it is passable. The experience starts with the installation, which is actually very easy using the official imager. Just select your device, the system you want, and where to install it. I did this all on my Surface Go without any issues. On first boot, you need to configure a few things and update the system, which takes some minutes, but after that the fun begins. I did notice some delay when opening apps or new browser tabs, but that might also be due to the crappy SD card that I'm using. What surprised me the most was that 4GB of RAM is quite adequate. I don't know what sorcery Raspberry Pi OS is doing, but RAM usage is very low, around 300 MB for the OS. So there's more than 3.5 GB left for apps and stuff. It even makes me want to install it on the Surface Go. There's actually an x86 version of Raspberry Pi OS, but it seems quite outdated. It would be perfect for low-end devices. Maybe I should try some Debian-based distros like NTX or Q4OS. As I said earlier, web browsing isn't a problem. Of course, you need to be conservative with the number of tabs open, but it works reasonably well. On YouTube, playback in Firefox isn't great. You can try 720p, but 480p works better. Chromium probably runs a bit smoother, but I prefer Firefox. For creating games with Python, it is quite suitable. The system already comes with Genie installed, which is a lightweight code editor and works reasonably well. I still prefer Sublime, but no complaints here. One advantage of working with such a low-end device is that if your game runs well here, it will run very well on almost any other device. My latest Pygame game runs at nearly 100 FPS, about half of what I got on Surface Go, but it is still fine. I also tested the demo maze game I made with Raylib in Python, and it works well too. with a much higher render resolution at about 40 FPS. Since it has hardware acceleration, it doesn't overload the poor CPU. Then I tried the Godot engine. I didn't even know there was a compatible version, but it actually works well for 2D games. For 3D games, not so much. I tried running a 3D platformer demo. It opened, but was super slow. Maybe if you shrink the window to lower the render resolution, it becomes somewhat usable. But the Surface Go handled this much better. I didn't even try video editing, not because I didn't want to suffer through editing and exporting on a Raspberry Pi 400, of course not. It's just that the SD card was already full and I couldn't install Kdenlive. But in a pinch, for simple edits with a few cuts and a few layers, it should work reasonably well. The Raspberry Pi 400 is a fun and adorable device. It feels like a toy. I think it will be perfect for a child to learn to use a computer, try programming and electronics, and above all, learn to be patient, which is quite a valuable skill these days. Maybe with a Raspberry Pi 500, the experience will be similar or even better than with the Surface Go. But for the price, it doesn't seem worth it to me, costing about twice as much for a used one. But it's not just speed that's lacking on the Raspberry Pi 400. What really annoys me are the micro HDMI ports. My adapter wasn't this crooked when I bought it. USB-C video output would be perfect, so I could even use it with my portable monitor using a single cable plus power through the monitor. But as it is, I need an HDMI cable with an adapter, a USB cable for power and touchscreen, and the Raspberry Pi power supply. In other words, it's not practical at all for use on the go, like on a train or airplane. Anyway, it's a fun little device, but I personally will not keep it. I'm seriously considering ripping the guts out of the Surface Go and attaching them behind my portable monitor, but I still have a few other options to explore. Stay tuned, thanks for watching, and until next time.